we record this
this is a good yarn.
Before Jackson gives away all his favourite stories. Yeah.
No, we were just talking to Elliot the other day, Sam, about at that meet how there was like me, you, Rick, and another guy all warming up on bench, and we were all warming up to like 180, so we were like jumping in plates, and Elliot was benching like 140, and he couldn't keep up, and we did the big jump, and we were like, "You'll go, bro," and he's like, "Oh, no, I can't do that."
I think with because the squat and his deadlift were always like really big, everyone assumed his bench was going to be the same. But I think it's caught up now, hasn't it? But
yeah, but
I remember that. I think that day. I think that's the day Josh Cannon got injured on his pec warming up. He tried like something big, like 260, I think, and got hurt in the warm-up room and never come out.
Yeah.
And there was I think I ended up with like 235 that day or something. 235 bench.
I think so. I don't think it won't be on open powerlifting because Dave has no fucking idea.
I think that's the one meet that I've done that's not on open powerlifting. That one.
Yeah, that's Dave for you.
We've covered that, Jackson. No, he didn't put it up. Yeah.
Not very up with the technology.
Yeah, copy paste send.
Yeah.
Come on, Dave.
Yeah. He's not amazing, but he's great at squatting, so that's okay. We'll give him that.
Some of the squats are ridiculous. Like 380 is I believe a Masters 4 lifter. World record by like a world record by 50 kilos, I think, isn't it? It's, I don't think anyone's come close to those sort of numbers in that class. So
just had his second knee surgery, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had like hip surgery, I think, 2 hip surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, and he messaged me the other day saying he's looking at getting back into it properly, and he wants to start doing some grip stuff while he heals, because it's like, well, my hips and knees are gone, so like I can do like while I'm doing rehab and recovering, I can work on my grip. He said it's always like, always letting down in competition, so he said he wants to work on that now and progress it. So it's good to have goals, isn't it?
He's got like fucking absolute baby hands.
He's got like sausage fingers, but like they're like thicker than they are long. So it's like,
Yeah. That'll be hilarious. I don't know how he'll go with that. That is so good. But anyway, I mean, before we get too far into the weeds, obviously, if people don't know who we're talking to today, obviously, welcome to Off the Platform, Jackson, Greg, as always. And today we've got 2 special guests. We've got Sam and Julia from the UK. Sam was the first male to ever hit 1,000 kilo total in the UK, raw, which is huge.
Did you have to add the male bit?
Well, yeah, because then Julia's the first female to hit 600.
Oh, I think Julia. No, I think you said Julia's hit 1,000 too. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Imagine Julia's the first female to hit 1,000 kilos.
Yeah. You said the first male to hit 1,000 kilos.
We say now that when she hit the 600, she beat my Wilts formula. So we now joke that I've got 1,000 kilos, and yet I'm the second strongest in the house. That's the ongoing joke. It's kind of, I get reminded of this now pretty much most days. So.
It's pretty clear. We're gonna have to find you a new formula. Just let you down.
Yeah. It looks that way. Yeah. I'm gonna go on total wins.
Total
wins. There's about 15 different ways you can win a powerlifting event. So you'll find a way.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I can't imagine your Wilks was that amazing when you hit 1,000. Like, how heavy were you then? You were like 180 or something, weren't you?
Oh, mate, I was like 171 kilos I weighed. Well, actually, I weighed 169 kilos officially, right, the day I hit 1,000. But then in the morning when I competed, after weighing in, I weighed 172. So I put 3 kilos on overnight. I went to a Franklin Burnley and I had like a giant family feast to myself. So like probably like 2 kilos of carbs and like loads of fluids, loads of electrolytes. So I stored it overnight, and like I woke up kind of like with like a face that looked like a pumpkin, bloated, purple face, felt great, nice and full, ready to lift big, like big squat face,
Sounds
like plenty of rebound off the squat.
Wow.
And I mean, so Sam, you're not over tall. Like, how tall are you? 5'9", 5'10"?
I'm 5'9", so 173 centimeters. So I was kind of like like I was kind of like wider than I was tall at that size.
Yeah,
It was fun.
that's a kilo for every centimeter. That's fucking legit.
It's almost,
Oh yeah, no, I almost. That was actually one of my goals at one point, but I never quite made it. I was always like a centimeter off, or like a centimeter too tall.
it must have been almost
That's
like
so
a perfect square, you know, that kind of weight.
Yeah,
And
good
that height.
square
Yeah.
shape. Like my back was like really wide in that. I've lost a bit of weight now, but I've still got the weight. Fat hasn't gone. Just less of a belly nowadays.
Yeah. What was it like walking around with that kind of weight? It must have been tough because we've got a lot of friends in the powerlifting scene, Jackson, that have been upwards of that weight, and you know they never have anything too positive to say about sitting at that kind of weight. You know, it's just uncomfortable.
Well, actually, Julia never knew me at this weight, did you? But it was kind of like it was one of the most uncomfortable things. Like up to like 160 kilos, I felt quite comfortable, and then like putting the last 10 kilos on for competition was like. Like every one of those kilos felt like 10. I felt consistently worse every time. Like I'd sweat in the middle of winter here. It gets to like 0, 2 degrees, something like that. And like I'd be walking around in a string vest and shorts and still sweating outside in winter in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'd be hot all the time. I'd sweat walking upstairs, get out of breath constantly.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I was conditioned as well. I trained a lot of high reps and a lot of that type of thing built, but it didn't help. I was, you know, just when you walk around that heavy, your body's under constant strain. You know, I just wanted to get the total done at that point so I could get it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
what were you doing? What were you doing to get the weight up? Were you just like downing tons of food?
Yeah, it was loads of food. I drank a lot of my calories as well. So like, there's absolutely tons of like those weight gainer shakes going in as well.
Oh, like the old mutant
like
mass. We talked about that the other week. Mutant mass, 1,000 kilos.
Yeah,
1,000 calories.
I was using it. I was using mutant mass again.
I didn't realize it's still around.
Calories.
That's awesome.
I went back to the old school way of doing it. 4 shakes of mutant mass per day and 4 meals. That's 12,000 calories.
Yeah.
That was when you were running a supplement company.
Yes, I had a supplement company at the time. It was like a wholesale company, so I had access to like pretty much weight gainers at cost price. So like a bag of like biotech weight gainer would work out. I'd pay like about £9 for it. So like I'd get for like a bag in a day sometimes.
Wow.
My gut felt awful, you know, but it was kind of, there was a big race at the time of who's going to be the first to hit 1,000 in the UK. So I thought like, I haven't got much time because everyone's getting quite close and I wanted to be the first, right? So the best way to do that and the quickest way to do it was just to, you know, put weight on as fast as possible and kind of rush it really. It's not really what I'd recommend to anybody that I coach, but given a scenario, I thought, right, I've got literally a couple of months to do it. Let's get as much weight on as possible, get my squat and bench up. Yeah. And just hope my deadlift doesn't suffer. That was the kind of action for it. And the food, you know, the part.
Bit of a rough internet connection.
Oh, yeah, it's just got a bit of black there, actually. Just frozen.
That's right. We're back. Yeah, we're back.
Oh, good.
That was a pretty crazy like breakdown when you hit that. You squatted like 420.
Yeah. 420 squat, 245 bench on the day, and I pulled what I needed to hit 1,000, which was 335.
It's massive. Yeah.
This internet's not being our friend today.
Because it's not me. Yeah, well, sometimes
no, it's not us.
It's my Wi-Fi can be a bit shaky sometimes when all the kids are on, but
no, it's not us because we're still fine.
That's why the Wi-Fi service. It's not our end actually. Our end's coming through good. Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, you guys got you back? Yep, that's it.
Yeah, you're back now. I'm back now. Yeah, sorry about the connection. I don't think it's our end. We've got full internet. Yeah.
Must just be the across the world fucking internet lagging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were saying about the phone calls, how we'd wait like 5 seconds. It seems to be the same today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just chat away, Jackson. I'll just grab a cable just in case. I'll grab a cable for mine. You keep going.
Oh yeah, see if it's you. But so obviously, I mean, I saw recently you hit like a deadlift PB, so that's like you're obviously still pretty strong at the moment. Are you looking at making a comeback at all, or?
Oh. I'm actually stronger on deadlift after losing weight. Like my leverage is better. I can get in a better
100%.
position, and I'm not over the bar as much. But my squat and bench are not what they were, at the minute.
Yeah.
So my total wouldn't be. I'd probably still be able to go on the platform tomorrow and get 900, but probably not much more. I'd have to work on like maybe putting a little bit of weight back on. I'm sitting about 135 at the minute. So maybe if I fill that 140, then we could see something decent. It's not actually something that I'm thinking about doing in the short term. Because for me, right, it's kind of, if I was to get on the platform, I'd want to hit more than I hit last time. So like it would have to be 1,000 plus, and I'm not actually willing to do what it takes at the minute. I'm kind of like just talking about this morning. I've kind of remembered how crap I felt, and it's not something I want to go down again for the time being. Like maybe in the future, though, who knows? But it's not something that I'm planning short term.
Yeah, definitely. And then, but I mean, then Julia, you're on your way up at the moment, really?
Well, after the 600, I've had a few other different comps. I've been doing a little bit of strongman, and I'm just having a bit of an off season now, doing some building.
Yeah.
And maybe look at return to the platform early next year.
Yeah.
Maybe look at add something to my total then.
Nice. I saw something recently. It was I believe it was a deadlift for reps.
Oh yeah, the Arnold. Yeah, it was great. I would put in a last minute entry at the Arnold NEC, and I jumped in and actually won the under 82 category, which was fab. It was actual deadlift. It was stiff. It was a stiff bar, and I swear my spinal erectors paid for it for days. But I got 11 reps, and I nearly knocked the 12 out before time was called in a minute. But yeah, not bad with 170.
That's crazy.
So, yeah,
that's crazy. Deadlift for reps, Greg. 170 for 12, basically, and under a minute.
Wow, who was doing that? Julia. 170 for 12. Shit. I was just telling Jackson.
On an axle as well. Like anyone that's pulled on an axle, it's like a stiff bar, but worse. It's horrible.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like I remember putting 300 on an axle, and at the time my deadlift max was like 350, and like my spine nearly fell out. It's horrible. It comes out so far in front that it's like you use your back more to like take control of the bars, especially around the knees when it kind of wants to drift.
It almost feels like a deficit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good training tool for anyone that struggles keeping the bar close. If you did a block on an axle, you'd have to reinforce that position, or else you'd lose it at knee height. So if there's any deviation from a good bar path, it was you could feel it kind of coming out when you got tired. It wants to drift, and you've really got to pull it in, haven't you?
Is there something you've tried, Jackson? I've looked at the axles in the corner of the gym, but I've never gone near them. But
I've had a play, but it feels gross. So I'm like, I don't want to be weaker. My ego can't handle that.
Yeah.
It's not great for the ego.
Yeah. But I mean, have you? And so obviously, Sam, you're pretty into like the grip side of things nowadays. If anyone follows Sam on Instagram, there's like some ridiculous grip stuff on there. But so have you done any axle stuff like double overhands and etc.? Or
it's actually my worst grip lift, the axle. I don't know whether it's because like my deadlift has always been my weaker lift as a whole. I've done 182 kilos double overhand on an axle, which is, people say 400 pounds. So it's 400 pounds. People say that's considered pretty good on an axle. But there's guys out there, with giant hands that are doing over 500 nowadays, which is like significantly better than what I've managed. I think Mark Felix has done 230 for 2, which is absolutely insane, and to be fair, it's one of the grip lifts that is dependent on hand size. So if you've got long hands, I've got really thick, kind of meaty, fat hands. Which lend themselves well to grip events like pinch, hub, grippers, stuff like that. Whereas it can actually be counterproductive for thick bar. Like you want like a long hand to get more leverage on the implement.
Yeah.
I feel like the perfect build for a powerlifter is like, maybe your legs are about 2 feet high, short legs. Your arms nearly touch the ground, and your hands are double the size of any normal person. So that's like the ideal powerlifting build, isn't it?
Kind of like, I think Ed Cohen has got the perfect. He's got like size 15 feet or something.
And giant feet. Stability.
Yeah, exactly. Big feet.
I remember I met him at a few times now, but like we've got a photo where we're like doing like a fist bump, and I mean I have like decent sized hands, I think, and I'm like, but then he's like half a foot shorter than me, and we have our hands like this against each other, and his hand is like bigger than mine, like width wise.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes my hand look fucking ridiculous, and I'm like, this is bullshit. This guy's fucking cheating.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no
literally the perfect build for powerlifting. It's like short for leverage, short legs as well, short femurs. Do you know what's really weird with the femur length, right? Is that Julia has actually got really, really long femurs, which would be considered quite a poor build by powerlifting standards. But she's actually managed to overcome it and made the squat your best lift, haven't you?
Yeah.
Which is, so it's like, even if you're not born with like the ideal leverages, you can still kind of train around them. And I think once you've got enough muscle on the plane, it kind of makes up for it,
Yeah,
definitely. What did you before? I mean, Julie, you've only been doing powerlifting for 2 years, 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did my first meet. It was a couple of years ago.
What did you do before powerlifting? Like, you obviously trained seriously, but what were you training for? Anything before that?
Strongman.
Cool. So
I came from a strongman background. So obviously look at things like Atlas stones, yoke, moving events, obviously all the main lifts, excluding bench, so a lot of overhead as well. So it was quite a good sort of core to build on to move into the powerlifting side of things.
There's often a lot of it's good carryover from strongman to powerlifting, I've heard. But I think I've heard Graham talk about it. There's not so much good carryover from powerlifting to strongman. What do you guys think about that?
I think with the base of the 3 lifts, strong is strong, right? So if you're strong on the 3 power lifts, you're going to have a good base for static lifts. Generally, a lot of powerlifters, like especially in the older days, used to like neglect cardio and moving. It's not really so much an issue nowadays. A lot of powerlifters tend to do their cardio, the higher reps nowadays, I find, and that turns over more to strongman. Whereas if you just train the big 3 and don't stretch or anything and don't do any cardiovascular work, you'll struggle with the rep events and things like that. But generally, a stronger powerlifter will do well on the static events for sure. So like the log, if you've got a good bench, like you'll do well on the log just from, leaning back and pressing it like an incline press, generally.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually trained much log, but when I had a really, really good bench, I was benching 260 in the gym at the time, and I could clean a 170 log to my chest and press it strict, just using like an incline press. So I'd lean back, go for that like banana back look, and just press it strict without using any legs. So like there is some carryover, but like, obviously a 170 log by the standard these days isn't anything special really in terms of like, super heavyweight strongman.
Yeah,
but so there is some carryover,
260 bench.
Still need to practice particularly.
Well, there's a lot of good things to say about a 260 bench though. So
the thing is like the bench is, obviously of a higher standard than the shoulder press would be in terms of like where it stands on. So there is some carryover, but I think I'd have to practice the log like I practice my bench to get to the same sort of level.
Yeah, I mean, there's that video from when Eddie did the axle world record, I think it was, and like everyone lost their shit because he just like leans back and just presses it.
Yeah,
like
I think if you've got a strong chest, you're going to load it. If you like bench, you're going to try and mimic that position and get the pecs. The pecs give you the pop off the chest, and then the triceps finish it off. That's kind of like the loading pattern, and he gets more lats into the left as well if you can lean back. You can kind of get like a pop off the chest by using your lats if you lean back enough. It kind of gives you a springy effect,
Yeah. Yeah. The I
It
remember when I
doesn't
did.
work well with like more lift, does it?
No,
It's
it
just-
really
yeah.
doesn't. Things like log and overhead press, it's log more because the instability factor when you've got something 4-inch diameter from the chest is huge. So once you add legs, you've got to really work on that stabilization. Overhead.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Some people swear by overhead stuff to help your bench, and some people, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like people are either really for it or really against it. They're like, no, you don't need overhead press, or like, you absolutely have to if you want to get your bench up.
Where do you sit on that,
you like
Jackson?
it, don't you?
Yeah, I really like it for bench assistance. As long
Yeah.
as you're not going too heavy for injury risk, tweaking their shoulders, rotator cuffs, things like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great build up of the delts and great for a power base.
Do you think it
Yeah.
turns over more that way? Whereas like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Mm.
I think for powerlifters, I program overhead work, but only on a high incline. So like people that I coach, they do plenty of overhead work, but it's all kind of seated and so it turns over to the bench rather than standing work. And we do separate core work, like rather than mixing them. I think the like basic here is there's more turnover from doing shoulder work to the bench than there is from the bench to overhead. So like I think like overhead work's more important for powerlifters than doing benches for strongman, if you get me. It works more that way around.
100%. I would agree with that. And I suppose the getting people to do all of the like you say, doing all of their like overhead stuff on like a high incline and seated, because then you can maximize the weight they can use and not have to worry about the stability factor holding them back.
It kind of like overloads the shoulders and triceps that way, rather than like I kind of save the core and the glutes for squat and deadlift day. If you know, if you're doing that twice a week, you don't really need anything else in that respect. We just you know, do the seated press for the shoulders and triceps to burn out first. So it's purely bench assistance for powerlifters. Like, you know, obviously strongman's different sort of programming depending on where they're weak and stuff like that.
You've done a bit of strongman, Sam, a little bit here and there?
I've not actually competed in it. I've done like one charity competition just for fun years and years ago, but I've never actually competed at a high level in strongman.
True.
I've trained it. So like I said, I got a 170 log I did a couple of years ago. I've played with Atlas stones as well. Actually, Julia showed me how she coaches the stone. And first time trying them, I managed to get 175 kilo stone.
Nice.
Must be a
which
good
is like,
coach.
I think, yeah, she showed me exactly how like to apply tacky and where to put my hands and stuff like that. And you know, I think for a powerlifter with short arms, I'm quite happy with that. You know,
that's awesome. Yeah. Any kind of any desire to do the competitions, or you know, you're firmly in the powerlifting camp?
It aggravates a lot of my injuries that I've got ongoing. Stuff like yoke wouldn't agree with my knee. I've got one rebuilt knee where I had a serious injury about 8 years ago, and any sort of event like that kind of aggravates it. So I try and stay away from anything that, you know, I do my conditioning on like an assault bike or rowing machine or stuff that doesn't involve loading it, and you know, stuff like yoke and farmers and you know, anything where I've got a pivot is kind of a bit of an issue on it and can cause inflammation. So I try and stay away from anything that aggravates my existing niggles. So I don't think strongman's on the card in the near future for that reason.
No, fair enough too.
Having a knee surgery, to be honest, is you know, not something I want to go back.
No, exactly. Yeah. Do you feel the knee when you're squatting?
No, to be honest, like powerlifting's in a straight line, and the injury was ACL, so it doesn't actually aggravate. Doing squat or deadlift doesn't aggravate it at all, and cartilage stays nice as well. The injury was quite unique in that it took some of the bone off as well. So the surgeon was unable to actually use a graft like they normally would. So I've actually got no ACL in my left leg. So I've squatted over 900 pounds without an ACL, which I think, from what I know of, I think that's the first person to do that, which is pretty cool.
All right, so no rugby for you then, eh?
I'd definitely claim that. The only person in the world to squat 900 pounds plus with no
I think so.
ACL.
You know, with no ACL.
No,
I think potentially even 700 pounds, 800 pounds, and 900 pounds absent an ACL. Like I know Mark Ripperto did some, had a similar injury to me where they couldn't repair it, and I know he's done some big squats without one. So I read some of his stuff to rehab, and I read that it could be done. So I thought, well, even if they can't fix it, I'm going to start squatting again and see what happens. So they cleaned up, the surgeon cleaned up the knee with a couple of keyhole surgeries. They cleaned up the meniscus, trimmed the meniscus, like removed the cartilage and bone fragments that were stuck in my knee joint. And then as soon as I had the cleanup operation, I could squat again. So the day after the operation, with my knee still in bandage, I managed to squat the bar and hit depth. So I thought,
whoa,
well,
the day after.
Yeah, why not? I thought if I'm going to do it, I'm going to move again straight
Why
away.
not, eh? Fuck it, why not? Exactly,
if I can do it, then I can hit. If I can do it the day after, then maybe I could do 30 kilos 2 days after, you know?
Dave Beatty, you pussy, come on, get back in the gym. Yeah.
I remember me bleeding through my bandage and thought, right, I'm
Who
going to hit that.
Who would have thought?
And that last inch just made blood seep right through it. It was cool.
Oh, that's hardcore.
And I stood up.
That's worthy of any Instagram post. That one is,
Yeah.
I wish I had a photo of it. Back then, it was like, I don't even think Instagram existed back then. It was like kind of, Facebook was like in the days when you could put videos up, but like you could only like, there was no emojis. You was going back to like the old days of Facebook, where like it took about 3 days to upload. And stuff like that.
When Facebook was still cool.
Yeah.
That's still what everyone had. Now it's like
still cool for us boomers, mate. Yeah.
So started my rehab protocol was just basically squatting every day and getting used to the movement again.
That was so that was recommended by the doctor. He said just fucking squat every day.
The surgeon said I'd probably never squat again. So I'm like, right, I'm going to prove it wrong. Right. I'm going to get back in the next day and do a squat.
Not only will you, I prove you wrong, but I will squat every day. Yeah.
So I'll squat every day until I squatted 300 again.
It just goes to show that, I mean, how many people, Jackson, who have had injuries on this podcast and who've just defied all odds? And I think, come to think of it, some of these doctors just they veer on the side of absolute caution. I think, hey, that'll take 6 months. That'll take 6 months. In reality, it's probably like 6 weeks. For an athlete, Well, 6 hours in Sam's case.
In Sam's case, 6 hours.
Yeah.
I think with like muscular, it would heal quickly. With muscular injuries, generally good nutrition and good training and stuff, like good lifestyle, does accelerate the healing time.
Yeah.
With like tendon injuries and stuff like that, there is going to be some time where there's got poor blood flow to these parts, so it does take longer. So for example, a muscle belly tear, like a hamstring tear. I've had quite a bad hamstring tear actually about 3 years ago. And the rehab protocol for it was wait for the swelling to go down and then basically do what I can. So like if I can do RDLs down to the knee, do RDLs down to the knee and flush blood into it, That's another one of Mark Ripperto's healing methods for injuries that are muscular, is to do what you can with them and flush blood into it straight away. It stops starting most healing. So that's kind of like where I got my ideas from.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's definitely come a long way in like injury treatment in the last, I want to say probably only like 5 years or so, 10 years maybe.
Very recently. People used to be like, right, if it's injured, rest it.
Yeah, it used to just be rest and ice it. And that's like now when you look back at it, you're like, no wonder everyone's fucking got frozen shoulder or like immobile knees or whatever, that when they should have been moving it, going through like as much range of motion as they can, like you say, keep the motion, get blood flow.
I remember a decade ago when we would get tendonitis, the coach used to say to us, just grab that band, throw it over the top of the frame of the squat rack there and do 200 push downs. And just do 200 push downs with that rubber band every single workout. And what do you know, that tendonitis went away.
Yeah. I think tendons have such a poor blood supply, they need super high reps to flush them. But like one of the things Derek Poundstone, the strongman, used to do that I've copied as well. Actually, I really like this idea. Is he always does high rep bicep curls at the end of a workout, simply to flush the bicep tendon.
Oh, interesting.
And Poundstone was one of the only strongmen to never tear a bicep. And I think there's probably some correlation there with it, just like promotes tendon health. So like grab a barbell at the end of your workout. And he said when he started, he'd get like 30 reps with it. Yeah. And then he'd push it up to like 100 reps with a bar at the end of every session.
Yeah.
You know,
I can attest to that. Definitely. I've done that as an arm workout. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
That was a Friday night though, wasn't it, Jackson? Before going
My best was 137, I think. 137 with a 20 kilo bar.
That's awesome.
Jackson's got to get.
I've done like 105, so you've got me there with
it. It's good. I 100% agree though. Like when I see powerlifters and stuff like pulling mixed grip, and then they're like, "Oh, but I don't train arms. Nah, I don't want to do any bicep curls." And I'm like, "You're gonna tear that bicep." You know what I mean? I feel like that's definitely I reckon you could definitely, if someone wanted to do a study on that, they could definitely correlate that. Like if you train your biceps, you're less.
I've got one mate that said to me that about bicep tears is like, I haven't got any biceps to tear, so it's not going to happen. That was his idea. So his idea was the opposite. Don't train them. If they're not there, there's nothing to tear. So, and he's never torn his either. So that's probably some truth to both.
Touch wood. Yeah.
Matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
I think every body part should be trained. That's the way I've always done it. Even calves, abs, everything.
Yeah. So what's like, even say for powerlifting, like what was your typical split, or has it changed much in the last like?
I pretty much train the same as I always have. I've always done like 2 sessions of lower body per week and 2 sessions of upper body per week. Mm-hmm. And then on off days, I don't really have rest days. I'll do like grip and conditioning work on off days. So I'll do something, even if it's like, like going in, do some grippers, some pinch, maybe a bit of like sled drag or something for cardio as well. Mm-hmm. And then, so 4 big heavy sessions and 3 kind of lighter days. When I peak for competition, I generally eliminate the lighter days and like actually take rest days as well. So I'd go into my sessions fully fresh. This is like talking 400 plus squats, I think you're the same, aren't you? You're
absolutely.
Like, off season, we tend to train pretty
6
much.
days a week. Yeah.
And then leading up to competition, we actually cut the volume as we up the weight. So we do less going into competition than we do normally.
It becomes a necessity when the weights start to get really heavy though. There's nothing worse than being excited for a big leg day, big squat day, and turning up and you've still got like residual DOMs in the glutes or hamstrings. You want to hit every session feeling like 100%.
Yeah, fresh airs.
Do you guys do you train together?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who trains harder?
For about 2 years,
yeah. Who trains the hardest? Well done, mate.
Like who trains the hardest? Always hard.
Who trains the hardest? Yeah, but Sam winked. He's saying, I don't know. I think he winked there, Sam, when you pointed at Julia there. Were you? So
I think in terms of training, like I've always done really long sessions and like 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes in terms of volume. And I always used to brag and say not many people can keep up. And then I've trained with Julia and I'd do my 4 hours workout and she'd still be going and want to do more.
Wow.
So she'd have like such a good work capacity that she'd keep up with me in the gym.
And then shift comes from the strongman side of things, where I used to do like, I don't know, like a 5-hour event day, where it's just event after event after event. So
it's interesting. Now we've not met Ajax, and not one guest. There's just a range. Some people go in and do a 30-minute workout. There's obviously Sam 5-hour workouts. It doesn't seem to be a one size fits all for every competitors. I guess it's just whatever you're used to. Whatever works for you. And Sam, Julia, obviously 4 or 5 hours works. Personally, it would kill me. I think Jackson, I don't know, how would you cope with 5 hours?
Well, I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You just do what, like, I mean, the thing with powerlifting, like we've said this before, and I think you guys would agree that like it's whoever can do the boring shit the longest and not get hurt is basically who wins. Like who can put in the work the longest. And so like if you enjoy it, you'll do it more consistently and more often. So like if like like you said, like if a 4-hour session, if that's like fun for you, then you'll do it all the time, whereas some people's attention span's like a fucking goldfish, and so they'll only handle like a half-hour workout before they want to go home. And then but that's what they'll consistently do, so they might as well do that. Like for me, I probably a couple of hours is probably my sort of attention span before I start to gas out or get hungry or just
Oh,
Yeah,
food.
hunger's a deal breaker for me. That's the only thing that will stop us often. I really like my food, so I've got to have like supplies with me. Keep me on track.
Like she'll do like an Eddie Hall and take ham into the gym and stuff like that, and I'll have like a carb drink, right? And she's there like with a packet of ham,
Packet of ham. Awesome. There's the secret.
Your workout secrets. The secrets come
why
out.
Not, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, like the way I look at it with the long sessions is I look at powerlifting as a skill, and the more time you spend training that skill, the better you get. I think people lose track of like if you wanted to get better at, for example, goalkeeping in football, right? You spend a large amount of time in goal practicing, right? So for powerlifters, I've always said you want to spend a lot of time in the squat rack, a lot of time benching, and a lot of time doing deadlifts. I think the more I train it, the better my line gets, my movement pattern gets better. And even though it's not always maximal, it's just time spent doing the movements to make them second nature, to get the line perfect, get everything firing perfectly, stuff like that,
Yeah, it's the old the 10,000 hour rule with anything, like to become a master pianist, you have to 10,000 hours of piano. With squats and bench, it's probably like 10,000 reps. Once you've done that, you're probably pretty good at squatting.
Yeah, that's why I think I'll kind of do the longer hours workout to get that in. And that's kind of how I got from, when I came back from knee surgery, I started to compete in full lift, in full meet powerlifting then. I think I got 720 in my first meet in 2015. And then 3 years later, that was 1,000 kilos.
London qualifier.
Yeah, no, I think I got slightly in 2017. I think I got a bit more. I think I got like 900 then. The one with Jackson. I think I did. I broke 900 that day for the first time, and then it was about a year after that I broke 1,000. So I think with my training approach, was kind of to get those hours in really quickly. That's how I did it. So it kind of had to be done to rush it, so to speak.
Yeah. How's the Sam and Julia? What's the powerlifting scene like in the UK at the moment? How would you rate it?
What in terms of who's hitting what? Well,
just in terms of the split of the federations. Is
okay.
Good camaraderie between the different feds, and is it the quality of the competitions is quite high? Is it? What's your take on it?
We've always lifted with the GPC and with the BPU, and we've done like international competitions as well. So, for example, last year we went out to Slovakia to compete in the GPC European Championships.
Dope.
That was a really, really well-run comp, actually, even during COVID and everything as well. And Julia went out there and she hit a 580 total, which won the European Championships. There's some strong girls there, wasn't there? I think there's another girl that hit 560. So there was like legitimate competition as well. And it wasn't like a competition where there's no one there and you win just by turning up. There was actually you had to work to win.
It was a great comp.
Yeah.
The reffing standard was really, really high. We were really strict on squat depth, a decent call on bench. It was a really good standard. And like Sam said, really nice to have some competition when you're out there lifting as well. Gives you something to kind of push yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. Especially traveling like all that way. But I mean, those.
I think it's lagged again. Yeah.
Those Those competitions in like Eastern Europe are like pretty hardcore though. Like that's sick.
We still got you guys.
I don't know. I think we've lagged on their end.
It's interesting. That are we still?
We're back.
Oh,
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. It's like 1990 all over again, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. The old toll calls.
Yeah.
Hello.
So yeah,
Julie,
the standard of wrestling was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was really good. That's what you're saying.
Mhm.
And I think the main thing with powerlifting is it would be nice to have more actual competition within the classes. That's what the sport seems to be lacking at the minute.
Mm.
So like, you know, lifters that are basically, when I used to compete, they'd be like, I'd do meets and like the second total would be like 750, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's improved since I've retired. The standard of the sport in general and the quality of, you know, the lifts that are doing. There's actual competition now as well, with like pro shows like popping up all over the world and things like that. It you know, makes the sport go in the right direction if there's people that are close. It's exciting to watch if there's 2 or 3 lifters that are around the same sort of numbers. It makes it more audience friendly as well.
Yeah. It's the there's a few comps in Europe that are starting to take on that pro level status now. The Irish Pro, yeah. I think GPC are doing something soon. The GPC Pro as well. You're hoping to see more of that kind of thing. Obviously, the US has got you know, it's got the Kern big dog, not big dogs, but you know, the Kern showdown and all that. But UK seems to be going the same direction as well. A little bit slower, but it is heading in the right direction.
I think with COVID in the mix, it kind of slowed everything down. Things were going that way before the virus became an issue.
Yep.
I remember like 2017, there was a really positive step here with the Savage Pro. It was run by Savage Supplements. They ran a meet here with prize money. And it was the first time there was actually a pro show within the UK.
Oh, nice.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, so there was one then. And yes, it's kind of, I think it's getting back to that point now. With the GPC, they were going to run a pro show last year, but it ended up being cancelled due to COVID. So steps are being put in place to make the sport more like that, which I think it's what it needs. It needs more prize money to get the best athletes there. Big sponsors getting involved, maybe like stadiums and arenas and stuff to like sell tickets as well. Kind of like what Big Dogs are doing out in Australia at the minute. They're actually selling out, you know, spectator shows and making the sport kind of like, you know, kind of like what Giants Live have done with Strongman. If that was to happen to powerlifting in a few years, you'd see the sport would get bigger prize pots, and then I think you'd see more genetically gifted lifters coming out and competing.
Yeah, that's a big thing with strongman, that Giants Live, and I think now they have like that World's Ultimate Strongman, like all those big sort of groups and stuff that that then just makes the sport bigger and bigger, and it just snowballs because then you get more companies and stuff involved, and then you get, like you say, the better athletes. Because at the moment, like, I mean, you get the occasional genetic freak, obviously, like the two of you, but you quite often they get taken by other sports because it's the glitz and the glamours and the other sports, isn't it? Powerlifting's
very much. Yeah. Especially like not so much in the UK, but especially like stateside and in Russia, where there's so much money in like the NFL, American football. In Russia, they get paid a wage for life if they win an Olympic medal. So like a lot of the genetic in Russia go straight into Olympic weightlifting. You know, so they don't even like, even though they might be able to squat 380 with no belt, no sleeves, nothing, right? They wouldn't do powerlifting because there's simply more money and more prestige in Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
And this is what tends to happen as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't blame them for going where the exposure is. That's what people do.
I think you got people like Kirill who are trying to make the changes. Especially with the Russian side of powerlifting as well, making it, bringing in the glitz and glamour as well with their WRPF comps.
Oh, his shows look really good actually. I always wanted to do one of his like WRPF shows. It looks like a proper event with like, you know, they've got like DJs and stuff like that, you know, which makes it exciting, you know. That's what sport needs, a bit more excitement, you know.
A bit more glamour to it.
Yeah. I think I saw a comp with Dan Green's coming out, and there's a proper band there as well. I think Jackson.
It's like a rock band.
Yeah, smoke machine and stuff. That would be fun.
They had flamethrowers and stuff at their first Worlds, I think. They made that WRPF. They had like flamethrowers across the back and stuff.
I think that's flamethrowers if you lose.
The competition
Yeah.
where I hit my 1,000, it was in a nightclub, actually, with like a DJ and everything. It was set up like a nightclub during the day.
Oh, wow.
It was actually a really, really good environment. And that's kind of like, I think it helped me perform as well. Had an audience. So like the dance floor was like the audience. And the main stage was the lifting platform.
Awesome.
And the DJ was there. And it had like the warm-up area was like behind the bar where they have all like the kegs and that of beer and stuff. So I was warming up on the monolift and backstage in a bar. It was awesome.
Nice.
That type of event is like, it's just a little bit different. That was a BPU event, probably one of the best events I've ever been to in the UK. Running in a nightclub, and it just ran really well. It was fun, you know. It was fun.
That's hectic. I mean, we've talked about that before. Like, if you did like a bench only, even if you did like a bench only meet, and you did it like in the middle of a pub, like darts is like in the middle of a pub, you know, and they have 2,000, 3,000 people in these pubs watching darts. Like, no one gives a fuck about the darts, but they all end up watching it because they're all sitting there getting hammered. Imagine that with like powerlifting, with like deadlift only or bench only that everyone understands.
Yeah. With
there was a meet, wasn't there, years ago like that, where I think Benedict Magnusson tried to break the deadlift world record in a pub. Do you remember that meet?
I think so. Yeah, that rings a bell. But I think
I would like to
why can't we do that more
often? That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And dare I say it, with maybe some strobe lights, Jackson. What do you think? You got to have.
No, not happening, Greg.
That's a
Greg
nightclub.
has this thing with strobe lights. What do you reckon? Strobe lights at a comp?
You guys seen the US
as long as I don't get my eye when I'm doing a bench, it'll be a good shout.
Yeah. As long as it's not loud when I'm squatting.
As long as that's not strobe lights on the ref size. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as the strobe lights are white, it's all good.
Yeah.
White, no red lights allowed. Like no red lights allowed.
Yeah, no lasers.
No lasers. Yeah. Tell us, Sam, Julie, tell us a little bit about the BPU. We don't actually know too much about it. Is it a new fit, or is it? I know it's been around for a little bit, but you know, who runs it?
British Powerlifting Union. They've been around since 2011, 2012, I believe.
Oh wow, been around for quite a while. Yep.
Yeah, like 10 years now. They're the British affiliate for the WPC.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No,
the World Powerlifting Congress. They're the British arm of that. It's a really, really good federation, actually. It's got WPC rules.
WPC.
So those of us that like wearing 3 meter wraps, like 3 meter wraps are allowed in the BPU. There's no start command on bench either. So it's literally WPC rules apply to comps within the UK, and they're really well run as well. They've got loud music.
Atmosphere is always electric.
Yeah, there's always good crowds now, you know, as well. It's run really well. I can't fault it.
Yeah,
it's got the best equipment as well. They've got the Sportscraft squat bar, which is 35 mil thick, I believe. So it's like there's no rip in the squat bar whatsoever. So the comps are set out to you know, for everything to be perfect for the lifter, really. Good, you know, great equipment,
good lift, makes a big difference on deadlift. Yeah.
Yep. Do you guys follow the sport quite closely in terms of your immediate competitors, or do you go broader? Do you look, do you have some athletes that you follow internationally as well, or around the UK?
We keep up to date with everyone who sort of competes in the UK. It's great to see there's some really strong girls coming up. At the minute, UK wise, it's really nice to see the sport advancing. I follow Hunter Henderson. I don't know if you're aware of her in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know Hunter. Yeah.
I think everyone has to be.
Hunter, shout out to Hunter. Come on the podcast, please. Yeah, you still haven't replied. Come on, Hunter.
Literally set the standard worldwide for the under 75s. It's unreal.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant to see someone like pushing boundaries and pushing through things like this. She's incredible. So yeah, we stay up to date.
So I mean, Julia, you are in the under 75s as well?
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
We had this discussion just the other day with another lady, Amber Hanson. She's in the 90 kilo class, but it seems like the 75 kilo class and somewhat the 82.5 kilo class for females seems to like be a sweet spot of some sort for strength.
Yeah, funny, we talked about that, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really strong girls sit around this weight. I mean, when I'm in prep, I sit around about the 80 kilo mark and cut down. I'm a fan of the water cut and cut down to 75. But yeah, it's a good weight to sit at. You can still stay athletic. I'm fairly short anyway. I sit around 5'4", so I can't really get much above. I couldn't really fill out the 85s. No, 82. I'd be like 85.
Yeah. Wider than me.
There's literally only so much size the frame can hold.
Yeah, I feel like for girls, it might be that sort of, for girls that lift especially, it might be that sweet spot where like it's enough muscle to, but then like you don't feel like unfit or anything, you know what I mean? Like you can still be, like you say, athletic and functional and still be comfortable with how you look, etc.
Yeah. A lot of the best powerlifters tend to be of the shorter stature as well, so we really can just hold so much size. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at open powerlifting now, Julia. You're number 8 in the 75 kilo class in the world. That's amazing. You know, congratulations.
Cool. Oh, that's pretty cool to hear.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for 75 kilos women's to 2021. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oops, I think that's dots. Did I use dots? I used dots. Yeah.
Oh, if it's within a weight class.
Yeah, me. Yeah, by total, you're still number 8.
10 on total as well, actually. Really? Yeah. 75 kilo totals are she's like top 10 as well, which is cool.
Yeah, she is.
There's very different formula, isn't there? It's like the Wilks formula and the dots formula. Like Julia now beats me on both of them. So I can't even be like, oh, we use dots and I still have the lead. You know? No, I can't do that. She's got me all over. Just go with totals now, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, she'll have you on McCulloch too, I think, Sam too, eh? So I think you're maybe even GL. So you're out of luck. You're just gonna have to get stronger.
That's it. That's all work in progress. I think we also follow as well the powerlifting scene within the UK from a coaching perspective. Like I've got a guy I'm working with at the minute that's he's hoping to total over 900 at his next meet, doing the GPC British. It's benching 220 for reps at the minute in training, so things are looking good.
Nice.
And you've got a girl that's done 500 recently.
I've got a girl who's just done a 502.
Wow.
She's doing really, really well. Yeah, again, another 75 kilo lifter. We're prepping at the minute for Worlds coming up in Portugal, which is really exciting because if I'm not competing, it's brilliant you're coaching someone else.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and improve on that total. We've got everything's creeping up really nicely.
Nice.
It's looking really good.
I mean, obviously you two train really hard and quite smart. So like, how do you find coaching like easy enough to like, or do you find some people can't keep up potentially?
I think we must have locked out. This is going to become an editing dream.
Yeah, you're going to have to edit this, G.
Oh, be back now.
Got you again. Yeah, just lost you there, mate.
Go. Repeat again, Jackson, the question.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah. So you guys obviously both train very hard and obviously quite smart as well, since you're both coaches. Do you find like that easy enough to like relay that onto what you expect of clients, or do you have some people that like struggle to keep up with obviously what you expect of them, to then like they're like, oh, I want to total this, and you're like, well, you're gonna have to do this, and they're like, oh, maybe not.
To be fair, all of our programs are really written for the individual. So anyone who kind of wants the big total, they know what the work involved pretty much is.
Yeah.
To get that far. I mean, powerlifting is you do get out what you put in at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's like, you know, down to good training, good nutrition, recovery, and people don't really get enough recovery. And that's one of the things I find. I think it's a huge part, isn't it?
Yep.
I think it depends on the athlete as well, in terms of you know, how much work they're capable of doing, what their life circumstances are. So, for example, if someone's got a busy job and they're a busy professional, I wouldn't expect that person to put, you know, 16 or 20 hours a week into the gym like we do. You know, that's not possible. Yeah. So I'd amend the program, and you know, you can make great gains, like you said, doing 30 minutes 3 times a week. You know, you can make fantastic gains doing that. There's no one size fits all way of of coaching or training is based on the athlete, their recovery, their experience in the sport, their lifestyle.
So train in person and online?
I just do online nowadays. I used to PT. I've done like 10 years of PT, and then when COVID struck here, gyms closed, and I've not started up again since. It's just online now.
Nice.
Yeah. How's it going?
Just with gyms being shut for like a year, I moved it all to like going down the online coaching route, and like actually really enjoy it. I get to work with athletes all over the world, which is fantastic.
Nice. Any plans to develop the coaching model? You're going to do an app and all that?
I'm quite old-fashioned with the way I coach. I like phone calls, voice notes, WhatsApp. It seems to suit most people, but it's something I think about in the future, I reckon.
It does give
I did look at the app like way of doing it. I thought maybe for some people that would suit them. But then pretty much everyone I coach is happy with, like phone call to discuss progress, WhatsApp, that sort of thing. I don't do emails and spreadsheets. I'm not that sort of coach. I kind of like keep it quite old fashioned in the way I do it. It suits people I work with. So,
yeah. No, sounds good. Yeah. But much like you, Jackson, as well, eh?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm pretty old fashioned as well. Mine's all WhatsApp and videos and then spreadsheet programs. Like it's
videos. I love videos.
More videos. Yes.
Yeah, people are like, oh, what do you want me to send you videos of? And I'm like, literally everything.
Everything.
There's no such thing as too many.
Make sure the videos are cut. I don't want to see them striking up first. I want to see the bar path, not like them sniff smelling salts 10 times.
You guys get that?
On this,
for sure.
Yeah.
You must have, and I didn't really think about this. You must get someone that literally sends you the video of their entire workout, or 2 hours of it. Do you get that? Oh, Jackson's nodding away. I'm like, wow.
One where I had one lad send me when I first took him on. He sent me, gave him 8 sets of deadlifts for speed work, right? So instead of filming like each set, he set a camera up and sent me a 12-minute video of the speed work sets. And I pressed download, and like 5 minutes later, I'm like, why hasn't it downloaded? And then it's 12 minutes long.
Dude,
so I'm watching him hopping and popping between sets. It was brilliant.
Oh, that's nice.
Absolute comedy gold, that one.
I've had the same thing. I've had someone try and send. They're like, "Dude, I can't send you my video," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh, it says the file size is too big," and I'm like, "Do you record this with like a ridiculous like HD camera?"
Yeah, like 4K.
And they're like, "No, that's just on my phone," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's like X amount of fucking gigabytes," and I'm like, They'd filmed their whole squat workout for 45 minutes non-stop, and I'm like, dude, when I said film everything, I didn't mean like
Film
literally everything.
Yeah, awesome.
But it's one of those things people don't know. It's funny though. It makes good yarns.
It does, yeah.
So, but now he sends me like the shortest videos. Like I don't even get the unrack and the rack anymore. I just get the reps. And I'm like, all right, he's learned.
All right, he's learned.
It's great. When they're like, when it comes up for the deadlift and it says GIF, it's going to be a speed rep. I'm like, yes, that's the best thing.
Nice.
That's the best bit.
So, guys, when are we going to see you competing again?
I'm going to let you go first on that one because.
Well, I was supposed to be competing at Official Strongman in Florida Worlds, but due to travel restrictions and stuff like that at the minute, I'm having to pull out. So I've got a few invites. I think I'm going to wait until early next year, and I'll be getting back on the platform. Hopefully, it'll be powerlifting, and hopefully get a decent total. I didn't quite hit the numbers I wanted to hit this time around, so I think there's a bit more there. So that's going to be my next comp. Spend a bit of time off season.
Julia, any plans on, internationally? I know you said Florida for strongman, but internationally for powerlifting as well? Are you looking at maybe, Wildcats in Australia or the Kern or Showdown, anything like that?
I had been invited to Pro Raw before the whole COVID thing kicked off. But with the restrictions in Australia at the minute, I think travel's just going to be restricted again. Wildcats for me was like always the dream. It's like, you know, it's the under 75 category, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's what everyone wants to aim for.
Yeah. It's perfect.
So yeah, if you know, if restrictions lift and things start returning to normality again, that's definitely on the to-do list. And if not, maybe somewhere in America early next year. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Look.
Greg, you're gonna have a good time editing this, bro.
The connection's really bad, eh? It's probably my missus on her phone call with Wales and half of the UK. She got brothers and sisters all over the place. That's interesting, eh? We've not really good connections tonight, and I've gone hardwired too, so it's not my end. Oh, you're back, Sam. You're back.
We're back. Oh, I was just saying, there's like Wildcats in Australia was always the goal, wasn't it? And if that was to happen, I would probably do big dogs as well. That was the initial thinking, was that I'd come out of retirement and do that, and then Julia would do Wildcats, and we'd go there and make like a holiday.
Nice. That would be awesome to see.
Compete as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, with 2 years worth of COVID, it's just not happened.
Oh, fucking COVID, eh? Yeah, it's just killed powerlifting, hasn't it, internationally?
It's one comp that I always wanted to do when I compete. I always want to fly out and do it.
Yeah, it's good fun. We always watch it. Jackson's nearly at big dogs.
I'm too small, bro. I'm a little dog.
Yeah. He's gonna have to do a little dog. Marcos, if you're listening, we'll get Sam out for big dogs, I think, and Julia out for Wildcats. I don't think Marcos listens anymore, but we'll throw it out there anyway.
Yeah.
Would that mean you would compete as well, Jackson?
Sorry?
Would that mean you would compete as well?
I'll come out of retirement. I've been retired now for nearly 10 years, so I don't know what's going to happen, eh? Yes, but when Julia's deadlifting 170 for 12, and I barely cracked 170 the other day, actually, after 8 weeks off training. I'm thinking, no, just enjoy it. What about you, Sam? You're officially retired. You're not even 30 though, are you?
I was 28 when I totaled 1,000, and I retired at age 28 after doing that. Basically what I said at the start of the interview as well was, like, I don't want to compete again and not hit 1,000 plus. Yeah. So if I'm not in shape for, like I said, I could do probably do like 900, 920 now with no prep. But it wouldn't do anything for me mentally to get on the platform and hit less than I've hit in the past. I'm sure like any lifter would understand that. Yeah, sure. Especially if you went
makes perfect sense.
It's just not. So it's something I've got to think about in the future, maybe. But at the minute, I'm focusing on coaching, and I've got so many clients at the minute that it's literally taking up a lot of my time at the minute, and that's my main focus, is to become, to push that at the moment.
Makes perfect sense. And I guess the next big milestone for terms of totals in the UK is probably 1,100, isn't it? So
someone's got that already. It's been gone.
Oh, who got it?
Graham Hicks, the strongman.
Oh, I didn't realize he'd done 1,100. Shit.
He did the big.
Sorry, Graham. That's what he was on a podcast.
About right? And yeah, it was good in that. But Hicksy, right? People don't realise how amazing a powerlifter Graham is. His first powerlifting competition he did, his first meet, he flew to Australia to compete in big dogs and did 1,100 in his first ever powerlifting meet. Damn,
that's just incredible, eh?
So, like the standard of the sport has just blown up, And 1,100 total is absolutely nuts. So there's like 10 people in the world that have done that.
I know, exactly, yeah.
So it's a huge. Basically, for me to compete again and have a target of that, my target would be 1,102 to get the number one spot back again. And I just know what that involves. And if I've got to look at another bag of mutant mass again, it'll be too soon.
Yeah. Fair enough too.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You've got to weigh it up what the priorities are. And also then you've got to have the mental energy to commit to those sessions every week and attack it, sort of thing. Whereas if you're training,
it's not something I can fit in at the minute.
Nah. It's a hard one. It's a hard one. Speaking of, so where do people reach you guys for coaching? obviously, Sam, you specialize in grip coaching,
Mm.
and otherwise you guys train powerlifters mostly and strongmen.
And strong women?
Yeah.
Yeah, powerlifting,
Strong woman.
strongman. Also coach people who just like to train, people who want to get fitter, get healthier, and feel better. So
I do grip coaching specifically for improving grip for all sports. So powerlifting, strongman, but also for like martial arts and related sports. So like anything where you need a better grip, they can come to me and get grip help. I do phone consultations, FaceTime consultations, like written programs for grip as well. So whatever somebody needs, I'd offer it. Powerlifting and strongman coaching, obviously. And again, if you just enjoy training and want to get stronger, fitter, I'm a person for that as well.
Nice. And what are the handles? What's the Instagram handle, and how do people reach you?
well, my Instagram has gone down at the minute. I'm trying to get it reset back up again. I'm not sure why. So I'm on Hench Personal Training at the moment, which is like a web page, and Sam is.
And I'm Fat Muscle Coaching with a PH on Instagram.
Nice. We'll definitely include those in the show notes.
We'll link those in. Fat Muscle has to be one of my favorite coaching names. Just quietly.
That's pretty epic.
It actually started. That was my brand when I was a wholesale protein supplement company. I was called Fat Muscle Nutrition, and it's kind of stayed. And it stayed with me. It's now my coaching brand. So I put a post out on Facebook actually the other day saying the Fat Muscle brand lives on forever.
Nice. That is a classic. That's awesome. Right, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Wish you all with the best for the future. And again, thanks for coming on. It's been awesome. It's been a blast.
Thank you very much, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Time.
Lovely to chat to you today. Cheers.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
You too. Good to catch up.